You know those Champions League nights? The ones that just stick with you long after? Where the final whistle almost feels, well, wrong because you just wanted more football.
Absolutely, yeah.
The recent semifinal between Inter Milan and Barcelona was exactly like that.
It really was. I mean, it wasn't just a good match. It was,
Yeah.
well, it was captivating. So many twists, great attacking football.
And Inter Milan got through in the end, but wow, the entertainment value across both legs was just off the charts.
Totally undeniable.
Like, just how close was it? The aggregate score? 7-6 to Inter. I mean, 7-6.
Incredible.
And that second leg in Milan alone, 4-3. 4-3. That's a huge number of goals for a Champions League semifinal, right?
Oh, it absolutely is. Usually, at this stage, games are much tighter, more tactical, cagey even.
Exactly.
But the fact that both teams just went for it and the momentum swung back and forth so wildly, It was genuinely special.
And don't forget, the first leg in Barcelona finished 3-3 just a few days before.
Right, yeah. That set the stage perfectly, didn't it, for this massive return leg?
It did. People are calling it a European classic already, and you can see why. Even like Alan Shearer, who's seen everything in football.
Yeah. What did he say?
He was raving about it. Called it pure entertainment, incredible entertainment, and, something very special.
Wow. When someone like Shearer reacts that way, you know you've watched something extraordinary.
That's why we love the game, isn't it? That unpredictability, the emotion, the sheer skill.
This tie had everything. And now Inter, they've booked their spot in the final, waiting for PSG or Arsenal.
Okay, let's dig into that second leg then. Milan. At halftime, Inter are 2-0 up.
Comfortable, you'd think.
Right. Aggregate 5-3. You'd be forgiven for thinking, okay, maybe they're cruising now. But Barcelona, well, they weren't having any of it.
Not at all. They came out for that second half with unbelievable intent, and they scored 3 goals without reply.
3 goals. Rafinha gets that third one late on, 87th minute, I think.
Yep, that was it. And that put Barcelona ahead on aggregate for the first time in the whole tie.
Imagine the tension then. Just incredible.
Must have been absolutely electric in the stadium.
You could feel the momentum shift completely. Barca claw their way back, snatch the lead so late. Felt like maybe that was it for Inter.
You'd think so.
But then, Francesco Acerbi was 37 years old.
Amazing.
Pops up with this massive equalizer for Inter. And apparently, it was his first ever European goal.
No way. At 37, that's incredible. Talk about delivering under pressure.
And it makes him the second oldest scorer in a Champions League semifinal. Quite something.
That's a stat. And that goal, crucially, took it to extra time, just adding more drama.
And extra time delivered, too. Davide Frattesi comes off the bench.
The substitute impact.
Exactly. And scores the winner for Inter. San Siro must have just erupted.
I bet. That was the decisive blow in a semifinal that, we'll be talking about this one for years.
Definitely. And those 13 goals across the 2 legs. That equals the record, doesn't it?
It does. Highest scoring Champions League semifinal ever. Ties Liverpool versus Roma from 2018.
Just tells you everything about how open and attacking this tie was.
Absolutely.
Now, Inter's journey here. It's interesting because we usually think of them as defensively solid, right?
Very much so, yeah.
They had 8 clean sheets in the Champions League before these Barca games. Jan Sommer, their keeper, got 7 of those.
Impressive record.
So, conceding 7 goals in 2 games against Barcelona, that's a big change from their usual style. What happened there, do you think?
Well, I think first it just shows Barcelona's attacking firepower, even though they lost.
True.
That second leg, Barca had, 22 attempts on goal, 10 on target. Summer was busy.
10 saves, yeah.
So that shows the pressure they were under. But maybe Inter sat back a bit more than usual, invited some of that pressure.
Possibly. But even with Barca throwing the kitchen sink at them, Inter still found a way. Shearer mentioned that too, didn't he?
He did. Said they somehow find a way to get themselves into the final. And that's resilience, isn't it? Mental strength.
It's absolutely key at this level, that ability to just dig in, withstand the storm, and still come out on top.
Crucial. And if Inter do go on to lift the trophy, well, that would be huge for Italian football. It's been a while.
It has, hasn't it? Since Inter themselves won it back in 2010 with Mourinho.
That's right. 2010, a long wait for a country with such a massive footballing history.
Feels like a long time.
Yeah.
But Inter have certainly made the San Siro their fortress in Europe.
Oh, yeah. What's the run now?
16 Champions League home games unbeaten. That's pretty formidable.
16. Wow. That kind of home advantage is massive in these knockout rounds, creates a real atmosphere.
Definitely. What do you think makes them so strong there? Is it just the crowd or tactics too?
I think it's a mix. The fans are incredible, obviously makes it intimidating. But tactically, Inzaghi has them very well set up, disciplined, hard to break down.
And maybe a bit psychological too, knowing you've got that strong record behind you.
Could be. Gives you that extra bit of confidence.
We heard some reactions afterwards. Simone Inzaghi called it an amazing night.
You can imagine.
Denzel Dumfries, who was brilliant over the two legs,
He really was.
described it as a crazy match, incredible. And Fertesi, the guy who scored the winner, said his head was spinning, almost speechless.
Yeah, those reactions really capture the raw emotion, don't they? Shows how much it meant.
It really does. These are the moments they live for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just quickly touch on some key moments from that second leg. Lautaro Martínez's opener for Inter that felt important early on.
Yeah, scoring first in these big games, it settles the nerves, puts pressure on the opposition immediately. Good finish, too.
Then the penalty. Paco Barcia on Martínez. Ref didn't give it initially. VAR steps in, and Calhanoglu steps up, cool as you like, slots it away. 2-0 Inter. What's your feeling on VAR in these huge games? It always causes debate.
Well, it's meant to fix the clear errors, and I guess the review decided this was one. But Calhanoglu, his penalty record is amazing under pressure.
It is. He never seems flustered.
Nerves of steel.
Definitely added to the whole drama. And then, second half, boom, boom. Barca hit back. Eric Garcia, Dani Olmo, quick goals.
Suddenly it's 2-2. The momentum just swung completely. Dizzying stuff.
What do you reckon changed for Barca at the break? Just more urgency.
Yeah, likely a higher press, maybe some tactical tweaks, more aggressive substitutions. They clearly had to go for it.
And while all that was happening, Jan Sommer in goal for Inter, he made some absolutely vital saves.
Crucial, yeah.
Especially those ones from Lamine Yamal, the young lad. Those felt like big moments.
Oh, absolutely vital. Having a top keeper in these knockout stages, it can genuinely be the difference. Sommer's experience really showed those saves kill the opponent's momentum.
Yeah. From Barca's side, though, must be absolutely gutting.
Oh, for sure.
They fought back so hard in both games after going behind, showed real character.
No doubt. Eric Garcia called it cruel, didn't he? But also said he was proud of the team, especially the younger players.
Yeah, you can understand that. They gave it everything, just fell short.
Exactly. So now, for them, it's back to La Liga, try and finish the season strong there.
Got to regroup.
Yep. Handle that disappointment.
And finally, just some standout players. We mentioned Dumfries already. 2 goals, 3 assists across the tie for a wingback.
Incredible contribution, his energy, getting forward, the quality of his delivery. Barca just couldn't handle him.
He really stepped up. And Calhanoglu's perfect penalty. Serbi's first ever European goal at 37.
Amazing story.
And for Tasi's winner, his reaction. You could see what it meant. Pure emotion.
Those individual moments, often under immense pressure, that's what defines these huge European nights.
So yeah, this Inter versus Barcelona semifinal, truly one to remember.
Unforgettable.
Just the sheer number of goals, the drama, the swings, Inter's resilience. It had everything. A proper classic.
It really was. Makes you think, doesn't it? What actually makes a match a classic? Is it just the goals, the narrative, the stakes?
Good question. This one seemed to tick all those boxes.
It certainly did.
So for you listening, have a think. Where does this Inter-Barca clash rank for you? Among the greatest semifinals you've ever seen, what moments really stand out?
It was definitely an emotional roller coaster, a brilliant reminder of how unpredictable and captivating football at the highest level can be.
Absolutely. Definitely one for the archives, this one. Your passion for the game can make learning English, well, not just easier, but actually fun.
Which is key, isn't it? Enjoyment.
Exactly. And it's fascinating how, our brains work. When you're genuinely into something like, say, the latest transfer gossip or a really nail-biting match, your brain is just much more open to taking in new information.
Yeah.
It's not like forcing yourself through, boring grammar exercises.
No forced march.
It's more like absorbing the language sort of naturally within a context you already get and, importantly, you care about. You're just more likely to notice new words, different ways of phrasing things. Yeah. It doesn't feel like study, does it?
Not at all. It's just keeping up with a sport you love.
Exactly.
Look, if you're finding this deep dive helpful and you want to keep exploring this whole connection between football and learning English, there's something really simple but really important you can do for us.
That's right. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
And it keeps us motivated, honestly, to keep bringing you more content that mixes your love for football with ways to actually improve your English.
Exactly. By subscribing, you'll get those daily updates. Football news, real English, fun content, all designed to help you get better.
So yeah, make sure you don't miss out. See you in the next one.